It's Friday. Hello, everyone, and welcome to our live training of eIMMIGRATION. We are so glad you're joining us today. Today, we're covering billing, credit card processing, how to store payment information in QuickBooks. This is a live training, but we are recording it, so please make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel so you can receive notifications when we upload new videos. We also appreciate when you hit the like button. Today's PowerPoint presentation is also available for you to download if you click on the Handouts section on the Go to Webinar panel. All right, so let's get started today. It's a pretty straightforward training. Um, we're also going to use the time to take other questions non-related if needed, okay? All right, so we're going to start showing you how to customize from the administrator portal, how to use billing, and how to store payment card information. Now, you should be subscribed to both billing and credit card processing. These are optional modules. If you want to take payments either using LawPay or PayPal, you have to have billing as well, not just credit card processing. And also, we're going to show you how to schedule the auto payments, how to use QuickBooks, and also Smart Alerts. All right, so let me start with the first video. It starts with, and actually let me switch to my admin portal. Not everyone has access to the administrator portal. You have to have access to the admin for customizations. So it starts here. And maybe you're not new, but you didn't know that you had to customize it and you have not used your billing module yet. And so you have to go to the admin and customize the billing items and also the billing item types. We also recommend that you link them or include them into your case processes. I am going to play the video and then we'll take your questions. If you have questions, we have a chat, uh, a section for sending your questions. So let me play the first video, how to apply all of these billing settings. And again, I'll be here if you have any questions. All right, here we go.
Hello, and welcome to our Cerenade video. In this video, we will focus on adding default billing items, associate those billing items to a case, as well as modify other settings for billing. In order to apply these settings, you must be signed up to the optional module Billing. You must also have access to the Admin Tools page. Let us get started. Once inside the Caseworker portal, we will access the Admin Tools page by clicking on the Settings icon on the top right, and then proceed to select Admin Tools. We are now in the Admin Tools page. Let us now click on Billing Items. You are now at the area to add default billing items. If you're brand new, you will see a blank page here. Or if you previously created billing items, you will see them listed here. You can always edit an existing billing item, however, for the purpose of this video, we will create brand new ones. We will click on Add Billing Item. We will give it a code. It could be any numerical code to help you identify this billing item. I will select a type, which we have listed as professional fee and filing fee. Keep in mind you can create more billing types in the admin portal and choose them here. You will now add the description. This will help you identify what you're charging and will show up on the invoices. Lastly, you will set the rate. You can either do a flat fee or an hourly fee. You can also make it taxable if you'd like. Once adding all this info, you can save. Your billing item has now been created and can now be selected when creating an invoice in the Caseworker portal. Proceed to create billing items for everything you charge for. Once finished, let us go back to the home page of the Admin Tools page. Now that we have default billing items, the next thing to show you is you can set default expenses to be listed when selecting a type of case. You can do this in the case processes. Once inside, you will locate the case you want to assign a billing item. Once found, click on the billing item icon. You will then click on Add Process Billing Item. You will see the list of billing items you just created. Proceed to choose the billing items you want to associate for this specific type of case by clicking on the checkbox to the left. Once finished, click on Add Billing Items. The billing items are now associated to this case, which means when working on a case and selecting this type of case, the moment I go to create an invoice and want to pull expenses, these items will be listed for me. Before we end this video, a couple more settings to show you regarding billing. Let us visit our application settings located on the home page. We will then click on the Billing tab to the right. We will now see a couple settings that will affect all users. The first couple settings involves taking everyone's ability to delete trust account info and invoices. Keep in mind, you can have this setting off and still limit someone's access in their user profile. If you've made a payment plan for your client, you can have the ability to add overpayments onto the next installment by selecting this option. You can have the invoice automatically list a due date by selecting this option. You can have the setting to automatically email a client when giving them a payment plan by selecting this option. You can even dictate how many days in advance you want this email to be sent out. You can add a default note which will appear at the bottom of invoices. And lastly, if you have the optional module credit card processing and plan to use it for auto payments, you can select default settings such as how many days before the due date do you want to charge your clients, and if you want them to receive an email letting them know if the card transaction was successful or rejected. Once you've applied your settings, you will click on Save. Please note, these settings will only affect new users to the system. If you wish to have the same setting for your caseworker profile, proceed to go into your caseworker profile, go to your user preferences, and visit the billing section. You will add the info and save it. The last billing setting you can add is add your own logo, which also reflects on your login pages for the caseworker portal and the client portal. To add your own logo, we will go back to the admin tools, go back to the application settings, and this time visit the branding tab. From here, you will see a button to upload a banner. Please note that you must have a file in the size of 300 by 70 in GIF format. Once you have located the file and upload it, it will be listed, and you will click on Save. If you do not see the updated file, you may need to hit refresh or clear your cached images in the settings from your browser. Once you see the image file here, it will appear in your login page, the login page for the client portal, and lastly on your invoices. This concludes our video on applying default billing items as well as other billing settings.
Can you guys, there's an issue with my audio again. Let's see. Testing, testing. Can you please confirm if you guys can hear me now? Okay, thank you for confirming. All right, so the video was pretty clear, but I was actually recommending one more thing. I was saying that in your billing items, what you can do is also add one general one. So if you don't have the time to create all of the specific items, at least create one that's called Master General, and you can have $1 or edit description, and then later when you create an invoice, you can add these Master General items and customize them. I was also recommending to create a process called consultation, so that if you need to charge for that consultation and there's no actual case, um, you can create a consultation process and also create your billing item specific to that process and link it. And so that way your staff will know this is how much we charge for a consultation. Anyway, so um, I was also explaining how to get to the admin, but I think that was pretty clear. So thank you for letting me know. And so let's go back to our PowerPoint. Make sure that you guys download the PowerPoint presentation because I put the links right here. So the videos that you guys are watching are here as well. So let's proceed with the next video, which is our billing module. And please let me know if you guys have any questions at this point. Thank you.
Hello, and welcome to our Cerenade video. In this video, we will show you how to create invoices and accept payments on those invoices. On the description box of this video is a link showing you how to add default expenses to choose from at the moment of creating an invoice. This video will show you how to create invoices with expenses already created in the admin tools page. Also, you must be signed up to the optional module Billing. Let us log into the Caseworker portal. In order to create invoices, you must have a case profile established. Let us go and search for a case profile. Once inside the case profile, you will go to the Billing tab. You will see two options, Expenses and Invoices. We will first want to locate the expenses that will generate into the invoice. Let us click on Expenses and Charges. You will then click on Add Expenses. By default, it will list expenses set for the type of case you are doing. You can also select the drop-down menu and select No Process. It will then list all your billing items. These can be set in the Admin Tools page, and a link is provided in the description area of this video showing you how. You will now go and select the expenses that apply by clicking on the checkboxes. Once you have your expenses set, you will click on Add Expenses. You will see the expenses listed from there, and you can modify the expenses if needed by clicking on the edit box next to each expense. You can then change the quantity, the rate, and so on. Now that we have our expenses set, we can now go into the Invoices tab to make an invoice out of these expenses. You will click on Add Invoices. You will see your expenses listed that we just set. You will now select the client you wish to charge. It will list the client's tag to this case. Then, you will check which expenses you want to charge to this client, either some or all. You will select the default invoice template. Lastly, you will determine if you want to force your users to accept one type of payment. If you accept multiple types of payments, you will not make a selection here and click on Add. You will now be brought into the invoice. You can modify things here such as add a due date, change descriptions, or even change the notes at the bottom of the invoice. Once you have everything set, including having a due date, you will click on Save and exit this invoice. Your invoice has now been created. If you ever need to access this invoice, you can either do so by either searching for this case profile in which you created the invoice, or you may also go into the client's profile and see the invoice there. If you wish to send this as an email to the client, you can click on the checkbox to the left and click on Email. An email template will appear. You can also set up a payment plan and have the software automatically email for you. If you click on the calendar icon, a pop-up will appear. You will set the first due date, the recurrence, the installment amount, and check for the client to receive automatic emails. You can even dictate how far in advance they get these emails. The software will now be in charge of sending those emails accordingly. If you also have the optional module credit card processing, you can go a step further and save payment card info in the client's profile and schedule monthly payments here. This will be discussed more in detail in the credit card processing optional module video. Once your client is ready to make a payment, they can contact you, and you can come to this invoice and click on the dollar amount icon. You have a variety of options to choose from in the type, such as cash, check, or other. If you have the optional module credit card processing, you may also input credit card info. By doing so, not only will it process here, but also with your LawPay or PayPal account that you have linked. To link it, you must be signed up to that optional module, credit card processing, and you must do it in the admin tools page for it to appear here. Once you've selected your type, the amount, add a reference, and add the payment date, you can click on Add Payment. The invoice will now show it has been paid. If you go to the second page of the invoice, it will now show a payment has been applied as well as a date. Besides adding payments in the case profile, you can also do this from the home page by hovering over the Create button and selecting Process Payment. You will be asked to locate the invoice number. You can then input your payment info, which will reflect on the invoice once processed. You can access created invoice in their client profiles as well, specifically the billing section. Additionally, if you have the optional module credit card processing, your clients can go into the client portal and make a payment on there. Once logged in, they will see the Invoices tab and click on it. They will see the invoice with the option to pay, as well as the option to view the invoice. When clicking the dollar amount, they will now see the option to insert credit card info. Once applied here, it will reflect on their invoice through the client portal, through your caseworker portal, and also the payment will appear on either your PayPal or LawPay account. If you ever need to refund an amount, you can go to your invoices and select the reverse payment button. From here, you can choose to void an amount or to refund. Once you make the selection, you will enter the amount, add a reference if needed, and lastly select the date. You will select void payment or refund payment at the bottom, and the invoice has been updated. The void or refund transaction will show on the second page of the invoice, and it will show on the paid section of your invoices. If you click on the paid amount, it will bring you to a new page showing you the transaction history of this invoice. The last thing to show you here is applying trust accounts, and then applying those funds onto invoices. To add funds into a trust account, you can do so in the client's profile. Once inside the profile, go to the billing section, and you will see the trust account appear. Click on that tab. You will then click on Add Transaction. You will select Credit and then apply the amount. You can enter a description if you'd like. You will click on Save. If having the optional module credit card processing, you can even pay with a credit card here. Once applying the payment, it will save in the trust account as well as the account you have saved on LawPay. Once you have the funds added here, you can go into the invoice either here in the client profile or in the case profile. You can add a payment by clicking on the dollar amount. You can then choose Trust Account. The balance will be listed and proceed to enter the amount you wish to charge. Once processed, if you go back to the Trust Account in the client's profile, you will see the new balance as well as where the payments have been applied. This concludes our video on billing. Thank you for watching.
Great. Please let me know if you guys can hear me, because sometimes the audio gets lost after I switch to the PowerPoint. So please let me know. Great. Thank you so much. All right. So I know the video covered that briefly. We're going to now go over the storing payment card information. So for that, let me switch to my caseworker portal. Please message me if you guys have any questions. Okay, I'm going to access my client's profile, and I was going to show you the shortcut. For those who are new, there's a shortcut. You can go straight to quick links. Anyway, so once you're here, obviously you need to, as the video said, you need to have access to the module, right? You need to be subscribed to billing and credit card processing if you guys want to take the payments automatically. That's one Number two, you need to install your PayPal or LawPay from the admin. And your client has to provide the payment card information, which is over here. On the right hand side, I'm at the client or contact profile, not the case. On the right hand side, you're going to click on billing, and then you have payment methods. So here's where you need to add your client's either payment card or bank account and decide which one you're going to use for processing the payments. Once you create the invoice, and again, please let me know if you guys have any questions about how to create the invoices. Okay, I'm going to use this one. It looks like we still have 6,267 left. So let's use that one. I'm going to create a payment plan. Okay, the payment plan has been created, so let me just delete this one and show you from scratch. Okay, great. So I have the invoice. I'm going to create the payment plan, and this is where I start. When is the next payment? What's the due date? So I'm going to say maybe August 5th, and I'm going to charge every month. The amount is going to be 500. And this is where you need to add the payment method. I don't have any credit card or bank account information. That's why I can't click on the drop down menu. But you guys will see that when you have added the credit card info or bank account info. All right, so you have to choose a payment method. And if this person has that payment method selected, then we are going to charge either that credit card or bank account. And you have to choose when. Maybe you want the payment to go 3 days before the due date or 2 days. Sometimes clients don't have the payment method, or you don't have credit card processing included in your subscription. You're only using billing, and that's okay. You're probably not going to process the payments, but you want the system to email the client automatically, to let them know via email, like you have a payment in 10 days before the due date. Okay, so you can also use that, create the payment plan, and the system will process that payment on that day. Now, I've seen clients who call and they didn't know that the setting was, let me show you the setting that I'm going to explain. And I know the video covered this, but just to clarify, because I know it has happened here. If you go to the admin, click on billing, you'll see the settings under invoice payment plan. There's a setting that if you check this box, that means that if the client makes an extra payment, it will process or it will be added or included as the installment or the payment plan. And so just keep that in mind. Sometimes if they make an extra payment, then their next payment cycle is pushed. For example, let's say she has to pay, we said 500 on August 5th, right? So now client comes in and adds a payment today, let's say cash. Okay, so she brings 400 in cash. I'll put today's date and I add the payment. Now let's take a look. All right, great. So the payment was processed. So let me open the invoice. And I don't know if you know this, but on the second page of the invoices, you have the payment history. So now we can see that the cash payment for 400 was processed. It tells me when, how much, what type of payment, and who processed it. If we scroll down, we'll see the payment plan details. So she had to pay 500 on August 5th. Now the balance is only 100. Okay, so if we process another payment before August 5th, now let's say they bring a check for 300. Check number and the date. Maybe this was processed last Monday, but we didn't know. So we add the payment, now the check is registered. And as you can see, the payment goes up, the balance goes down, like over here. Let's see, right? If I open that invoice again, look at the date. Now it's September. So because we received 300, and now her balance for the next billing cycle or the next payment plan would be until September 5th. So don't be confused if that happens to you and you don't want that, just go back to the admin and uncheck that so that any overpayment goes to the balance and not the next installment amount. Okay? All right, so let me take a look at and see if there's any questions. Okay, I'm going to launch a poll to make sure that you guys are paying attention. Just kidding. Any questions at this point? Just click and submit your answer. Okay, I'll just stop because we got more than 50, so let's continue. All right, so the next item that we want to cover is how to install your LawPay or PayPal for those who haven't done it yet. And by the way, again, make sure you download my PowerPoint presentation so that you can watch the videos later on. So you need to go into your admin portal, click on application settings, and it's located on the right hand side under payment gateway. So click there, payment gateway. Depends on if you have LawPay or PayPal, but this is where you need to connect or link your account. Okay. After you do that, then you can start taking payments, and also your clients will be able to process their own payments. Let me show you. If your clients log in into the client portal, you need to provide them the username and password. They and let me just clarify, they don't have to see this. You can always block it. Even if you have billing, you probably don't want all clients to see this, so you can block this, okay? Now, if they have access to the invoices, they can click and open. This is the exact invoice that we were just working on. So if we notice, the client can also see that their next payment is until September, and now they only have to pay 300. Also, they have the same payment history, which all the payment, shows all the payments, how much, what type, etc. So it's a lot easier for you guys because the clients don't have to call you all the time. You can just direct them. The question was, how is the notification will show on the client's email? Well, let me show you an example. Let's go back to the client. Let me close this. Every time that the system or you email or message the client, there's a system message for auditing purposes, and you can always hide them right here if you don't want to see them. But I'm gonna search for the keyword payment or billing. Or so here's an example of a message. How does a notification show when it goes out? You have a log so that you can always confirm. And I wonder if you can, yeah, you can share with the client in case they didn't get that message. But in this case, well, the client was notified via email for due payment. It tells you the invoice, the payment, all the details. You can also share the invoice. Doesn't specify exactly, it's just a notification for you so that you can have that proof that we did send a notification. But let me select an invoice and email it to my client. See this message template? You can customize it. So it's up to you. If you go to the admin portal under letter templates, you can create the exact message that you want to use for sending an email, sending an invoice or a notification. Um, this is an example. Thank you for your payment, and it's populating the client's first name, and then again, you can customize it with your information. That's the letter template that you can customize and choose. How will they know it's us? Will it show? Oh yeah, yeah. When it comes from, it doesn't say Cerenade or eIMMIGRATION. Every time that you guys message your client, let me use a log for example. I'm gonna say that I need to send this to the client, share with client. This is a log, but you can also send an email. So if you notice, it's coming from your email. You can also choose an alternative email, which it could be info@cerenade.com. But again, when you email your clients, it's going to show your email so they know that it's coming from you. You can also, again, customize a message just like you see here with your name, your logo, your address, your phone number, anything that you need for them to contact you back. But yes, thank you for the questions. All right, so going back to our PowerPoint presentation, the auto payments has actually been covered pretty much. So let me just double check. You're welcome. Yeah, thank you. Um, so let me go back for those who still want to learn that. Okay, so we talked about creating an invoice, and make sure that you create a case. You cannot create an invoice if you don't have a case yet. That's why in the beginning of the training I was saying that we recommend that you create at least one process called consultation. Because if you have a prospect and you want to create an invoice for the consultation, well, you can go to cases, select create case, and then you can choose consultation, select your location, and then click next. Just like when you create a case, right? But the type of process will be consultation. I'm going to select alien or other. Doesn't really matter because we're not going to deal with forms. That's why this is blank. But what we care for about, this consultation process is billing. So at this point, I can add my expenses based on that type of process. See, these are showing up because I have linked them. And we talked about this in the administrative portal. You can customize which billing items are linked to that process. In fact, if you guys change the process, such as adjustment of status, then you can see other billing items, okay, that you can pick from. I mean, doesn't have to be that one. Sometimes you'll see that if you pick a process that has no billing items like this one, it means that you haven't customized it. And yes, you can use the system for non-immigration cases too. All right, so the other thing you can do, it's selecting no process, which gives you all billing items. And at the beginning of the training, I was also recommending that you guys create one called general. Let me show you. So it's only $1, and that's if you don't have time to go through creating all the billing items. But the idea is that even if you have at least one, like this one, you can edit the billing item and change the description and maybe say, okay, flat fee for AOS, and customize the unit price, the quantity, the expense date, etc. All right. So again, that's going to save you time if you guys don't have all the billing items specified per process. Now, and after you create the expenses, make sure that you're satisfied with the number before you go to the invoice, because once you create the invoice, there's no changes once you save it. Okay, so at this point, we have the expenses. Then we're going to add the invoice, select the client. This is also important because if I choose Valerie and then it turns out that her husband is the one paying and he's logging in, he's not going to see the invoice. So if I need him to access his own portal to pay for this invoice, then I need to go to case parties and add him. I'm going to link, but I'm not going to do that. I'm just gonna I just want to cover that in case you guys wonder, like, how can I include the family member so that he can or she can make the payments as well. All right, so when you add the invoice, again, you select the client, the expenses, and the template. We do have a professional service. If you guys want to design your own invoice, just contact your sales rep for a quote. I don't recommend that you limit the payment unless you have to. Like, I only want to take care. I only want to receive cash payments, but I mean, it's not recommended. I'm gonna click add. So it takes you to the invoice, and Ray explained to us in the video how you can add your logo. Okay, that's in the admin portal. You can change the logo. The only things that you can modify at this point would be the shipping billing address, also the payment address, the due date, and you can change the description. So maybe I can change, consultation, or I can modify this. But um, if I need to modify the amount, I can't. Like, it doesn't let me because I need to close, go back to expenses, and change it there. You can also modify your notes at the bottom. Please remember it's 50/50. I don't know, like any notes that you want to add on this section. Then you have to click to save to the server. Make sure that you see this green bar that the invoice was created successfully. Now we can safely close the invoice and start taking payments. How? Well, right here, add the payment, or if you know the invoice number, sometimes clients will call to make a payment. You have the shortcut, which I completely forgot. Give me 1 second. Huh. I know we have the quick links right here. Oh, right here, process payment. All right, so as long as you have the invoice number, you can enter the invoice number, select the invoice, enter the amount, and then just process the payment a lot quicker than having to go to the contact profile. But since I'm already here, I'm gonna add the payment, select, let's say they give us a check for 2000, check number or any other details, paid by husband, I don't know, and the date. Again, you can specify this was processed maybe or received on June 20th, and we add the payment. So now the balance is less, and we want to create a payment plan. So you click payment plan, enter the due date, maybe next month on, or let's say September 2nd, every month you're going to pay 500. Right? So now you know you can also change how many days in advance should the notification go out. And if you want the system to automatically charge their credit card or bank account, make sure that you add their payment method. And that's under the client or contact profile. A quick tip or shortcut would be click on her name. It will take you directly to her profile. And then on the right hand side, now you have the billing and the payment method option where you can add their payment card, and that way the system can charge them automatically. All right, let's continue. Please let me know if you guys have any questions. I'm trying to cover as detailed as possible. It's time now for me to cover QuickBooks. Now, keep in mind you cannot have both. It's either Cerenade's billing or QuickBooks. Okay, and it has to be QuickBooks Online. Again, I put the link right here so you guys can watch the videos. But let me take you back to the caseworker portal. So for those who want to use QuickBooks, make sure that you connect your account under application settings. Now you're going to see the Intuit QuickBooks authorization. So this is where you can authorize your QuickBooks and pretty much connect it to eIMMIGRATION. And also your settings. When you submit a charge, do you want that to show as accepted or pending? So this is where you can change the settings for QuickBooks. On the other side, when you have a case and you want to use your QuickBooks, you're going to see under billing the word QuickBooks Billing. All right, so here, the way that QuickBooks works, you have to add the entity, in this case, my client. Let me find her and select. And you can create the charges or modify these and submit. So if I create a charge, let's say I'm going to charge for the consultation, one item, and it's 200, right? So now I can submit the charge to QuickBooks. This is it. If you like regarding QuickBooks, if you need to create an invoice or process a payment or run a report, you need to go directly to your QuickBooks account. Please go back for the QuickBooks again where it shows pending. Oh, in your admin, go, this is your admin portal. Okay, you're gonna click on application settings. Then on the right hand side, it says QuickBooks and click on settings again. So your settings, you can change that to show all the charges reflect as pending. So that in your accounting team, whoever sees that there's a consultation fee or charge, it's going to show pending. And then they'll approve on their end. Yeah, but here again, I'm switching back to the caseworker portal. I went to billing and QuickBooks Billing, And so I am adding the charges here, and then I can submit. Let me know if you guys have any other questions. But yeah, if you ask me which one, if you're not sure, I always recommend our billing. You still probably need to use QuickBooks for other reasons like, mortgage or payroll or what have you. But um, our billing is already integrated with reports and reminders and like the process the automatic payment. So it's a lot easier to use. And for example, speaking of reports, I can click on billing, and number one, I can print invoices and batches. So I can say, give me all the paid invoices that we have. I don't know, let's say from January 1st until today. Oh no, no, sorry. These are creation dates. Actually, let me expand. How many created invoices have been paid since 2020? All right, so I can select them and print. Now that's one report. You can also run a report to see how many invoices still have a pending balance. You can export to PDF or Excel. If you are subscribed to custom reports, I highly recommend that you better yet schedule it. Schedule a report and send it to your accounting team. So you may use our billing and you want to send this information to them so they can cross balance. They can, oh, you're welcome. Yeah, let me know if you guys have any other questions. But yeah, if you have billing, I highly recommend that you also get custom reports. If you don't know which ones you have, again, on the top right corner, it says settings and then subscription details. This is where you can access your customer number. You can see which items or modules you have. So I'm recommending custom reports because you can schedule a report for billing to be sent automatically on a daily, weekly, monthly basis to your accounting team. So it's a lot easier to have that information be sent to them. Let's say, for example, this one, how many payments did we get in the office of California? And I can narrow down my search, but it shows me that the office, the case, client, and then the amount. All right. Next, I'm going to play a video because we have a new feature called Smart Alerts. And I really like it because if you have a client with past due invoices, it will show you a pop-up. So let me play that video and we're almost done. Give me 1 second. Please message me if you have any questions, okay? Thank you.
Hello, and welcome to our Cerenade video. In this video, we will talk about Smart Alerts. With this feature, you can now have default Smart Alerts when accessing a client or case profile, as well as be able to create ones manually. This means any caseworker will see that Smart Alert pop-up box anytime they access the case or client profile. Let us log into the caseworker portal. Let us first see how we can create a default Smart Alert in the admin. Later in the video, we will show how you can manually create those in the client or case profile. From the caseworker portal, hover over the settings icon and proceed to click on Administrative Tools. Once inside the admin tools, you will see Global Client Alerts and Global Case Alerts. We will create a default Smart Alert for the client, so let us click on Global Client Alert. We will click on Add Alert. A pop-up will appear. It will allow us to first select the type of alert. By selecting the type, it will show what color will appear on the client's profile. From here, you will then select if you want a basic alert or advanced. For our first example, we will select basic. Once making your selections, you can proceed to enter the message of the alert. It is open to anything you want to add here. Once the message is set, you can finalize by clicking on Save. You have now added a global smart alert in the client profile. If accessing any client profile, you will see the alert when accessing the profile for the first time, informing your caseworkers with your important message. If you exit out this pop-up box, you will notice a small bell next to where it says individual name. If it is red and moving, it means the client profile currently has a smart alert. If it is black, then no smart alert is currently set. By clicking the bell, you can bring up the pop-up box again to see the smart alert. Let us go back to the admin and add another default smart alert. We will once again go into the global client alerts. Let us click on Add Alerts. We will select our type, but this time we will select Advanced. By doing so, a couple drop-down menus will appear. First, you will see client members and invoices, meaning the smart alert will be related to the one you select. If we select Invoices, we will see the comparison where we can select R, and the last drop-down menu will appear where you can select Overdue. You will see a preview of the message below and finalize by clicking on Save. By doing so, if we access any client profile and if they have overdue invoices, the smart alert will inform you of how many overdue invoices are presently associated to this client, a quick and effortless way to always be notified. If we had chosen client members as the entity in the global client alerts, the comparison will appear and allow us to select Has, and the field value will appear where we can select a family member type. If we select an option here such as Adverse or Other, the software will notify you if your client has a linked adverse party in the Members tab. Now, if you do not want to add a global alert, but rather do it on a client-per-client basis, then you can also manually add these in the client or case profile. Once inside the client profile, we will revisit the little bell. Let us click on it. You may or may not already have alerts here, but for our testing purposes here, we will simply click on Add Alert. And similar to the options we saw in the admin, we can select them here, either adding a basic alert or advanced alert. Once adding my alert, I can click on Save, and my alert will only be saved for this client profile. Anyone accessing this client's profile will see the alert. A minor distinction between global alerts and manually created alerts is you will notice that manually created smart alerts can be edited or deleted. However, global alerts cannot. That is intentional, as global alerts should only be modified by those individuals who have access to admin. Lastly, if you set up an advanced global alert and it does not apply to a client profile, it will not pop up when accessing that client's profile. If clicking the bell, it will show as an inactive alert. This concludes our video on smart alerts.
Okay, so that's a feature that you all have access to. So regardless if you are interested in billing or not, you can take advantage of that to know, for example, if there's a conflict of interest. You can set up the alert. Now let's cover the resources and support. If you guys have any questions, how to contact us. You can call us Monday through Friday, 8 to 5 Pacific Standard Time. Now, we're going to be closed next Monday, but that's the phone number. You can call us. You can email us 24/7. That's the email address. You also have a technical support option on your home screen. So if you are connected to the system, it's a lot easier to click there and send us a message, as well as sending your feedback to our developers. Also, let me tell you something. We do take your feedback into consideration. One of the features actually that our clients recommended was the smart alerts. And so please don't take it for granted. Like if you have access to direct access to our developers, which other companies don't do that, take advantage of that. Speak your mind and let us know what you like or dislike. Anyway, so we have the user's guide where you can find videos and articles. And these trainings that are free and live are every Friday at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. We have a podcast, we have a Facebook forum page, and we have our YouTube channel. If you have not registered or subscribed yet, please click on the link and subscribe. Also, we appreciate when you hit the like button. All right, so these are some of the questions that you guys sent. Others were not related, so that's why I want to have enough time for you to ask any questions. They don't have to be regarding billing. So number one was how to reset the client's password without getting the form back. So let me show you. I mean, the answer is right here. You can access a contact profile, but let me show you where to go. So let's say my client calls and says, I'm not able to log in. I already sent the forms or questionnaires or anything, and I need to reset their password. Although, just so you know, clients can do that themselves. If they are trying to log in and they can't, they can click on forgot your password and they can get that email directly with their new password. But if they can't do that, just go to your caseworker portal, click on or access their contact profile and click on Client Access at the bottom of the menu. This is where you can disable, delete, you can change their login name and password. So just enter a new password, click Update, and send them an email. Here's your new password. Okay? But thank you for your question. It happens a lot. Can I create an invoice for a prospect? I covered that already, but yes, you can create a process called consultation, and then you can create the invoice. Can I have both billing and QuickBooks? No, you need to choose only one. And how can I make changes to an existing invoice? You can't edit an invoice once it's been saved, but the only exception will be the address area. So let me again quickly show you what I mean by that. All right, so let's go to billing, invoices, and let's say my client moves or there's a different address that I need to reflect on the invoice. You're gonna click on settings and you can click here to change the address. Okay, so that's the only, pretty much the only change that we allow just for best practices and also the payment type. But I'm just gonna save and it will update the invoice. If you notice that you made a mistake, there's the wrong amount, um, you have to create a new invoice. Now, let me, let's say that that payment that we processed for the check, it's wrong. It was only 1500, not 2000. So you can actually make an adjustment. Now make sure that your admin gives you permission to do that. You probably don't have the permission, but you can always process an adjustment, say, you know what, it was 2000, uh, we processed that, I think it was, I didn't look at the date, but let me just void that. Okay, now it's 0. So if you open that invoice one more time under the payment history, you'll see that it reflects the adjustment right here. I didn't enter any notes, but you can also explain why you are adjusting and then process the payment one more time. Okay, add the payment, let's say 1500, check number and the date. Here we go. So now it's the correct amount. All right, let's continue with our, I think that was the last question that we had. All right, so I put a section here. It's called Did You Know? So click here on the links. Make sure that you download the PowerPoint presentation. Some of these are new features, some of them are not as recent as, for example, the smart alerts. We are also about to release new features as well, or enhanced features, so please stay tuned. But it's good to know, and that's why we recommend that you subscribe to the channel. These are the upcoming trainings for the month of July. Also, please make sure you are aware that we're going to be closed next Monday. And for those who have to disconnect, I want to thank you for your time. Please make sure you subscribe to our channel and connect with us. And yeah, thank you so much for your time and have a great long weekend. Happy 4th of July. I'll be here if you guys have any other questions before you go. All right, take care. Thank you so much. Likewise. Bye-bye. I don't see any other questions coming through, so I'm going to end the session. But again, the video will be available in our YouTube channel. And please make sure you download the PowerPoint presentation. Thank you and have a great weekend.